Ladies and gentlemen, weebs and waifus, welcome to Kyo World here on YouTube. And boy, do I have a banger of an anime to discuss with you all today. This anime has been on my radar for a little while now, but I just recently was able to actually sit down and watch it. Needless to say, once I started, I couldn't stop. Or rather, I didn't want to stop. It was so good and the story was just so gripping. That anime is none other than To Be Hero X. But of course, before we deep dive into the synopsis of the anime, some housekeeping first. If I've said it once, I've said it dozens of times at this point, but the fact still remains. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet, what the hell are you waiting for, huh? A formal invitation? Fine. You, yes you, watching right now, you are cordially invited to the Kyo World YouTube channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I don't know, while you're at it, hit that notifications bell so you never miss a Kyo World upload. Go ahead, do that now. The word on the street is, if you do, your trust value will shoot up tenfold. Don't worry, I'll wait for you. Alright, all done doing all the things? Good. Now, without further ado, To Be Hero X. Let's talk about it. In a world of brilliant heroes, it's the trust of their fans that makes them into superheroes. If the people believe that a man can fly, he will fly. If a hero loses the people's trust, he loses his special abilities. Trust value is collected and quantified and used to determine a hero's ranking. Every 2 years, a tournament is held to choose the top heroes. Their performance in the tournament determines their new trust values and their rankings. The absolute hero with the highest ranking, his name is X. To Be Hero X has 11 arcs, each with its own individual yet connected story. In the end, everything will come together. The heroes covered so far are as follows: Nice, E-Soul, Lucky Cyan, and Queen. Each character has a few episodes dedicated to their story specifically, before jumping into another hero in the top 10 rankings. Episodes 1 through 4 covers the hero known as Nice, aka the Commoner, who is ranked number 10. In episode 1, after being fired from his job at an ad agency for making a commercial claiming anyone can be a hero, Lin Ling is about to jump off a building when the popular hero Nice suddenly walks past him and commits suicide himself. Nice's manager, Miss J, then appears and kidnaps Ling to prevent news from spreading. Realizing Ling resembles Nice, Miss J forces him to impersonate the hero while covering up his death by releasing an article claiming Ling was the one who died. Ling pulls off the act quite well, to the point that the trust system physically changes him into Nice and gives him his powers. Soon, Ling goes on a talk show run by the hero and Lighter, with Nice's girlfriend, the hero Moon. And Lighter attempts to slander Nice by bringing out Ling's old boss, who became a villain empowered by fear, and blaming him for Ling's supposed suicide. However, the boss goes on a rampage demanding payment for his services to Nice's agency. Though initially scared, Ling perseveres and defeats his former boss. Afterward, Ling goes to sleep in Nice's house when he finds Moon lying on the ground, seemingly dead. In episode 2, waking up to find Moon is okay, Ling concludes that her death was just a bad dream. However, Moon deduces that Ling is an imposter and reveals her relationship with Nice is a fabrication. While Moon wants out of her contract, Miss J announces that they plan for the two to get married and locks them inside Nice's apartment until they agree. However, after bonding with Moon, Ling proposes an alternate plan to Miss J, faking Moon's death. They stage a fake proposal and plan to have it attacked by Rek, Nice's best friend and fabricated nemesis. Unfortunately, Rek sees through Ling's impersonation and goes on a rampage upon learning of Nice's suicide, forcing Ling to defeat him for real and resulting in Rek falling to his death. Ling and Moon then successfully fake the latter's death by pretending she was hit during the battle. Afterward, Ling says goodbye to Moon as she uses her powers to teleport herself to an uninhabited island. Elsewhere, and Lighter deduces Ling is impersonating Nice when he is approached by a group of villains known as the Spotlight Organization, who offer him the power of fear, which he accepts, becoming the villain God Eye. Episode 3, The Ever-Standing Hero. To break into the hero rankings top 10, Miss J tasks Ling with apprehending Wolf Girl, the nemesis of the current 10th ranked hero, Firm Man. Discovering Wolf Girl's hideout, Ling uncovers that she plots to bomb a statue of Firm Man. The bombs explode, causing the statue to almost fall on a child, until Firm Man stops it. However, Wolf Girl captures and threatens the child unless Firm Man lets the statue fall. Fortunately, Ling arrives and reveals that Wolf Girl is in fact the first person Firm Man ever saved, and that she wants him to lose his power, unbendability, so he can stop suffering from the side effects. This causes Firm Man to cry publicly, plummeting his trust value and removing his powers. The statue begins to fall, but Ling stops it, causing his own trust value to skyrocket, making him the new number 10. Afterward, Ling meets with the now retired Firm Man and confesses that he is not nice, but the latter claims not to care. However, Godai then publicly broadcasts that he has kidnapped Moon and threatens to expose Ling. The final episode for Nice is episode 4, where Ling wants to save Moon, but is stopped by Miss J and the public's will. Instead, Miss J's boss, hero sponsor group Tree Man CEO Shang, sends the hero Blankster, whose punches can erase memories, to cover up the situation. However, Godai defeats Blankster after plummeting his trust value by exposing his past as a cheating boxer. Miss J's goons interrupt Godai's broadcast with the same commercial Ling made the day he was fired. This inspires Ling to go against the will of the people, which undoes his powers. Arriving at the scene, Ling publicly comes clean about Nice's suicide and tries to fight Godai, but gets repeatedly beaten up. However, Ling's determination and confession of love to Moon inspire the audience, giving him his own trust and power of super strength, allowing him to defeat Godai. Moon is rescued, but revealed to be a fake, exposing Godai as a fraud himself. Afterward, Godai is arrested, and Ling develops his own hero identity, the Commoner. Later, Ling uses Moon's teleport gun to join her on the abandoned island, only for her to be assassinated by the 9th ranked hero, Isol. Starting with episode 5, we move to hero Isol, the 9th ranked hero. His story occurs before Nice's in the timeline. Yang is an orphan working as an Isol actor at a children's theater under the employ of Iceco shop owner Rock. He gets hired by his school crush, Zia, who cannot tell it is him under his costume, to be a personal entertainer for her little brother, Pomelo. Chang and Pomelo bond as the latter helps him prepare for a competition to be a part of Isol's hero anniversary presentation. However, his zero trust value results in him losing. Still too afraid to confess his feelings toward Chang and sad over his loss, he leaves. Pomelo finds him but gets kidnapped by 2 of Chang's former co-workers. Chang gives chase and causes the kidnapper's vehicle to crash. Though no match against the kidnappers, Chang refuses to give up, and Pomelo places faith in him upon seeing his determination. This gives Chang his first trust value, unlocking electric power similar to Isol's, allowing him to defeat the kidnappers. Afterward, Chang brings Pomelo home to Shang, confronted by one of the competition's judges, Shang Chao. After getting Pomelo checked out, Chao shows that Chang has gone viral as new Isol. Chao offers to become Chang's manager, even building a small HQ for him in a warehouse, and his trust value continues to increase as he begins working as a hero. However, as Chang's popularity starts eclipsing the real Isol's, the latter's manager attempts to frame him for being behind Pomelo's kidnapping to increase his trust value, causing Chang to get arrested. Fortunately, Chao hires Enlighter to provide evidence of Chang's innocence, and he is cleared of all charges. The next day, Chang and Ching go to meet with Chao at the HQ, only for one of the same assailants who tried to kidnap Pomelo to kill Chao, as Chang and Ching watch on in horror. Episode 7 ends Isol's arc when Chang blames himself for Chao's death, believing he could have stopped the assassin but hesitated. Learning from Enlighter that the culprits have a powerful benefactor, Chang assumes it's Isol trying to sabotage his hero career again and publicly challenges him to a duel. Isol is convinced to accept by his manager. Chang repeatedly tries to talk Chang out of fighting Isol, but he refuses, causing the two to fall out. During the duel, Chang uses a strategy devised by Rock to get around Isol's electromagnetic shielding, forcing him to use his signature move, Lightning Slash, by starting an online campaign against him. With Isol's trust value plummeting, he is convinced by his manager to use Lightning Slash, but Chang counters, killing the hero in the process. Afterward, Chang, now the sole Isol, absorbs his predecessor's trust value and becomes the 9th ranked hero, with Rock as his manager, unaware that Rock is the true mastermind behind Pamelo's kidnapping and Chao's assassination, all to prop Chang up. Now, in episode 8, we move on to our third hero covered so far, Lucky Cyan, the number 7 hero. Her story occurs before Isol's in the timeline. A young girl miraculously survives a plane crash and is found by journalist Louis Jin. Suspicious that no hero intervened in the incident, Jin smuggles her to safety before leaving her at an orphanage run by a friend, naming her Cyan. She is soon revealed to be incredibly lucky, which the other orphans, the caretakers, and eventually even the director begin to exploit. As a result, 5 years later, the orphanage has become a cult centered around her. However, this leaves Cyan isolated from her peers until she meets a new boy named Luau, who is said to bring misfortune. Confiding in him about her desire to be average, he helps her feel normal, and the two bond. After 6 years later, the now adult Cyan and Luau attempt to escape from the orphanage, but are intercepted by the director, revealing he is a failed former hero and intends to raise them into heroes as well. Despite the director's attempts to stop her, Cyan escapes when a combination of her luck and Luau's misfortune causes a truck to crash into the orphanage. However, Luau gets injured and is left behind. With her luck gone due to her trust value collapsing, Cyan becomes a street performer to earn money and afford necessities, finally giving her a semblance of a normal life. She soon becomes popular, causing her powers to return, and gets scouted by the hero sponsor group DOS. In exchange for their help in saving Luau, however, they lie to her that he is dead. 2 years afterward, Cyan is now a famous idol under the name Lucky Cyan, and people flocking to her for her music rather than her luck. Back at the orphanage, Luau learns about Cyan's new life and is happy for her. However, the director then whispers something in his ear, shocking him. Later, all the orphanage's inhabitants are seen having been transformed into zombie-like creatures. The zombification of the orphanage's inhabitants is revealed to stem from public fear after their connection to Cyan is exposed. The populace learned about her surviving the plane crash, spreading rumors that her luck comes out of others' expense. As the negative press impacts Cyan's trust value, her colleague, the hero Queen, comes up with a plan: unveil the truth behind the incident using the plane's black box, which Zen salvaged and entrusted to the director. Returning to the orphanage, Cyan takes the recorder after defeating the zombified inhabitants, including the director. However, she is then attacked by a zombified Luau, who reveals his parents died in the crash. Fortunately, Cyan manages to replay the recording, revealing that her luck originates from the passengers praying for her survival, causing Luau to come to his senses, and the two reconcile. Afterwards, Cyan becomes the 7th ranked hero once her name is cleared, none aware that Zhen and DOS's CEO Mickey masterminded everything to unveil the existence of the power of fear to the public. The last hero to be covered as the series hits its mid-season finale is Queen, our number 2 ranked hero. Queen's story occurs concurrently with Lucky Cyan's in the timeline. Liu Yue is a prodigy who announces during her university graduation, at the age of 14 mind you, that she intends to become the number 1 hero and change the current trust system. 4 years later, she has signed up with DOS and is now the youngest hero to ever break into the top 10, with her public naming her Queen. Her debut also generated support for heroines, which gave her colleague Boa enough trust value to win the 16th biennial hero tournament and become the first female top-ranked hero in over 20 years. However, Queen and Boa do not get along. since Mickey treats the latter as a stepping stone for the former. Another 4 years later, Queen participates in the 18th Hero Tournament. While it was expected to come down to a match between Queen and Boa, both are easily defeated by a mysterious participant who instantly becomes the new first-ranked hero. With his true identity still unknown, people refer to him by the top rank's epithet, X. Afterward, faced with failure for the first time, Queen falls into a depression. Meanwhile, Boa succumbs to the power of fear after learning that Queen is Jin's daughter. Queen snaps out of her depression upon learning of the controversy around her junior Cyan, leading to her formulating the plan of recovering the plane's black box. Shortly afterward, Queen begins working harder than ever as a hero. Conversely, Boa becomes a fear-empowered villain as she deludes herself that Queen's rise stems solely from Jin's connections with Mickey. 2 years later, on the night before the 19th Hero Tournament, Boa ambushes Queen to eliminate her in competition, even though she cannot compete due to dropping out of the top 10. In the end, following a fierce battle, Boa is defeated and taken into custody. Unfortunately, Queen is also injured and falls unconscious for several days, causing her to miss the tournament, which X once again wins. Although Queen is devastated, Cyan comforts her and tells her to stop overworking herself. By next year, Queen has fully recovered, but Mickey forces her on a vacation, which she accepts. However, while on the ride with Cyan, she stumbles upon their colleagues Little Johnny and Big Johnny, the latter of whom has transformed into a monster and is going on a rampage. To Be Hero X is scheduled for 24 episodes and 12 have already been released. If you are into the superhero genre at all, this is the anime for you. It has done nothing but give stellar stories and get the audience invested, and has provided top-notch 2D and 3D animation provided by Bedream, Bilibili, and Aniplex. There's so many twists and turns with this anime. It has me thinking, will the story fully resolve at the end of this season? Will there be a season 2? I don't know. But I do know one thing. This is my early nomination for Anime of the Summer, and I highly recommend you give it a try.